I hope this comes across okay with the sound. We'll see. Hopefully there's not too much of an echo, but it's just a little 50-second TikTok clip. TikTok video, I guess? Whatever. TikTok. Alright. So, let me write all this down. So we have disappearances in the 70s. It means bad or evil in mineral deposits in the water. Oh, that's some bad looking handwriting. Whew. Turn the water red. And did I say? Oh, now I got like pen smears all on me. The life of a writer, you guys. And we have a half man, half beast shapeshifter. Alright. First and foremost, Amanda. There's a word on here that I don't like that's tagged. For people who've been on the stream long enough, you know I don't like Skinwalker stuff. And I just noticed that tag. But alright. Let's see. Close that so it doesn't mess us up anymore. And actually, I'll just leave that up. Alright. So, I did look up this location on the map last night, and let's see. Is it gonna let me? There we go. I did find it interesting that we have a cemetery here and a cemetery here, and then our park is right here, and actually there's another cemetery up here. But let's overlay this with the terrain so we can kind of look and see. I am very much not familiar with the Dakotas at all. So yeah, looks like there's a lot of cemeteries and things. Interesting. I'm sorry, you guys might be hearing my computer running loud as always. It likes to do that. Alright. Let's see. You think if we zoom in enough, we'll find the creature? I'm just being a smartass on that one. But it's cool that it's just basically what looks like very densely forested area. Very pretty. I'm probably bogging down everybody's computers. I'm sorry. Just looking at Google Maps. I'm just curious with the cemetery. I'm weird. I've got to look. Day one research is like the most distracted research possible for me. I was hoping you'd see a little bit more. Just because everything's new, unless it's something I haven't seen before or something I've seen before. And stay signed out. I realized on my browser before I had a lot of just like my email address and everything on everywhere. So I updated it and I made like a new one. And look, I got a little wedge of cheese with a purple background. It's purple because of Twitch. And then cheese because I like cheese. And I'm cheesy. So, alright. Now we are actually... What are we doing? We're looking at this. A spooky and beautiful place. I'm going to be focused. It is routinely talked about in this northeast part of South Dakota that the deep, thickly forested ravines of the eastern slope of the prairie I don't know how to say that. Hills are haunted. This belief can be traced back to the Dakota Sioux, who once used the area as their primary hunting grounds. Oh, that's good. So we have people associated with it. So many things I've looked up lately, it's just been like Native American, but not specific. So I like when it's something I can link to. Like the Siren of the French Broad was nice because that was listed as Cherokee. So when I was looking up the trying to find the original history of the story, I was able to, look up specifically Cherokee. So it's nice that in this one, I know I have the Dakota Sioux. Ooh, various figures fought. I just want you guys to see this. This is the word. This is how you pronounce it, and I want you all to say it like 3 times fast, and if you can do it without messing it up once, then you're better than me because I can barely say it once. Sica. Alright. When the first Native Americans visited the area, they named it Sica, meaning evil or bad. Numerous Sioux legends recalled mysterious happenings here. The local Dakota believed this to be the reason for the red tint water that gushed out of the springs in Sica Hollow. And I don't even know how I would pronounce it, honestly. Like Sica, probably. Anyways, actually it was most likely the result of minerals in the water, but the legend persists to this day. One can walk the Trail of Spirits where supernatural forces are supposedly at work. Alright, so this is going to be the most squirrel-brained day one research, but it happens. Alright, so we have our Trail of Spirits that you can walk. When whites first stumble upon Sica Hollow, the hills surrounding it, many of the fears of the supernatural were spread from the Dakota to the white settlers. The first man to make his home near what would one day become the park was named Robert Roy in the 1840s. So, fairly recent history. Finding the location to be ideal due to the abundant game, he soon made his home in a deep ravine. Local Indians thought he was crazy for living in an area they would not dare set foot in, much less make their home. A few years later, an expeditionary force from the government from Browns Valley set out to find him with the intent of collecting strategic information on what was then the frontier. It took them several days just to get down to the wooded ravine where he lived. Sorry, I looked away and I lost my place. After they visited with him, soldiers left agreeing with the local natives that the man was probably crazy to be living in such a place. After years passed, more and more whites settled in the area, and the stories about the area only grew. It is later believed that some sort of beast or Bigfoot type man inhabited the dense woods. This fear became a boiling point when several people disappeared in the 70s. Oh, okay. So the 1970s disappearances are possibly linked to a Bigfoot type or Sasquatch type. Of the many people who joined the hunting parties for the missing persons, several who participated openly admitted they were looking for some sort of beast. Such an idea was supported by recent local sightings of something apparently fitting that description. Others thought there might be a bear loose, but nothing was found of the beast, bear, or missing persons. Some parts of the... knocked everything over on my desk. Some parts of the Sica Hollow nearby Long Hollow and other area ravines contain a form of quicksand due to the numerous springs. Additionally, vast stretches of densely forested gullies and harbor ravines drop several hundred vertical feet. It is little wonder why mythical stories persist to this day. Bam. All right. Let's see. Let me make a note about this. I wonder what they mean by quicksand. Like, because they say a form of quicksand, and I've looked that up before with the gray man because we have the puff mud here. Rising from the plains, these rugged, timber-covered hills and ravines were left after the last glacier receded. The Indians called them Great Hills. A national recreation trail runs through the park called Trail of Spirits. Along this path you can see gurgling reddish bogs, the very same ones the Sioux once thought were sprouting blood and flesh of their ancestors. Swamp gas and stumps glow in the dark, and small waterfalls are heard echoing as trapped air escapes. It's easy to understand why these anomalies of Mother Nature were once held in awe by ancient Indian tribes and the subject of many legends. I actually do appreciate them pointing out that there are swamp gases and stuff that glow in the dark and stuff, because so often we have that and people think it's something paranormal or supernatural, and it's really not. It's just science and basically swamp farts. My brain blipped, as it happens a lot. Let's see. Let's look at the most haunted campground. I'm really excited too. I love the idea of there being a Sasquatch type running around. Because, you know, Bigfoot's everywhere. But I'm always interested because sometimes he is considered to be more of like a Native American spirit. So that would be interesting. But yeah, I'm curious. Let's see. Was it most haunted campground? That's what I was looking at. I always like when something is the most something. I've done a few the most haunted whatever in a place. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We got some more information. Has a reputation over the years, beginning centuries ago when several peaceful Native American camps were wiped out by spirit by this name. Oh, there we go. I don't want to be rude and butcher something by mispronouncing it very badly because I don't understand the language or the phonetics. So it's one of those things where I am just going to say by the spirit. who sent a messenger to rid the land of an unwanted visitor, in turn killing all of its nearby residents. So, if anybody ever wonders why I have to write this down now and not write it down later, it's because I will forget to write it down later. You guys actually do not know how many times I have not written stuff down and instead just try to base things off of what I said when I was doing my research, and oof, it takes me so much longer to write them than if I have a few notes to refer back to. And whenever I'm editing and I'm writing those notes, because there's a process, you know. I do my live research and then I edit and then I write notes as I edit. As things come to me, but yeah, my thoughts are different at that point in time, so then I kind of lose track as to what my thoughts were and why I'm making updated thoughts. All right. Known as Hills of the Prairie by French fur traders, these hills, ridges, and elevations are over 2,000 feet above sea level. This highland exceeds from the North Dakota border about 12 miles north of Sica Hollow at a place called Windy Mound, southward to 50 miles below Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Unexplainable natural phenomenon resulted in fear-inspired legends and prompted the area to be named Sica, pronounced Sica, by the Santee Sioux, and it means bad. And then, let's see, water flows red, but we already know that one. I love how many. I say how many. We've only seen 2 pages, but both of them have said, well, also to the TikTok we watched, but they've all said that the red water was just from minerals. So it's nice that we do have things that are becoming more prevalent of putting in the actual facts. So that's nice. I like how they didn't say Sasquatch or Bigfoot. They said a missing link type man spotted running through the forest. Let's see. Ooh, you can camp here for only $13 a site. Only $6 a day to enter by vehicle. Alright. So we do have a few things that we can look into. I want to see more about the disappearances. Right? Yeah. This one has another story associated. Native legend told of a stranger named Hand who entered the hollow one winter. The hollow was a perfect place to winter as the trees and hills protected the natives from the cold prairie winds and snow, while her trees were a perfect place to obtain fresh meat over the winter. Hand wasn't like the other natives, didn't give thanks or show gratitude for the bounty that Mother Earth provided. He took without concern, and it was decided in council that he would be banished from the hollow once the weather turned warm. Hand spoke to the young boys of the tribe to convince them to turn their backs on their old ways and to take what they wanted instead of paying their dues like the generations who come before them had done. The elders of the tribe prayed, and after much bloodshed, Hand was destroyed by Thunderer, a god of the tribe. Thank God the tribe prayed would help them. Sorry, I'm reading it too fast. Is the water in the hollow red due to all the blood spilled by hand? Is the chanting heard at night the sounds of the elders praying for help? Or is the light seen in the sky, thunder coming to help to make sure no one like hand ever harms the hollow again? Wait, there's lights in the sky? We got lights. Oh, we got aliens too? Like late Norman all over again. We got lots of things. I like that. Alright, hang on. Let me see if... trying to see if any of this... Huh. Strange glowing lights within the hollow. Interesting. Ooh, maybe if it's like the Brown Mountain lights? Right. Throughout the hollow, mounds of dirt rise between the trees where no animal will go. Are these the grounds of those who fell at the hands? Let's see. Mostly, I mean, it's a cool story. I really do like that, but with that one, all the stuff that it's linked to, as far as the paranormal side, are already proven, like science things. Okay, let's see. More about Robert. Alright, and then we have... So it was hikers who went missing. Did I say that? I feel like I'm gonna have, like... one of those brainstorming bubbles that you used to draw. I don't know what the official word is for them. But I feel like... I'm going to have that, and like in the center of it is going to be the 1970s hiker disappearances. And then I'm going to have all my like little bubbly branches, because that's already kind of how my notes are for it. And I'm running out of room on my one page, and I'm going to end up having to have another page, and just the way my mind works. Alright. During the Civil War, as legend goes, troops were moving the natives towards the reservations, but one group didn't want to leave their home. The army couldn't convince them to leave the land they cherished for many generations. The medicine man told the army that they would never be able to force the natives out, and if they tried, the land would be cursed. The army chased the natives into the hollow, but the natives were never seen again. Could the hauntings of the hollow be the spirit of the natives who took such pride in their land that they would never leave them? Let's see. Climbing up from the grassy prairie, these jagged and rough forested hills and hollows were formed after the last great glacier receded less than 20,000 years ago. Called the Great Hills by the natives, trying to describe Sica Hollow was... to someone who's never been there, is like trying to describe the northern lights or a lightning storm to someone who's never experienced them. There is a magical quality in the northeast South Dakota that has captured the imagination of all those who passed through her trees. The hollow has been the center of legend for hundreds of years, and due to the haunting beauty and eerie wonder of the place, will remain legend for many years to come. So, we have more information with the Civil War and the natives being moved out. There is a Dead Man's Curve nearby. So we have Ghost, we have Bigfoot, we have aliens, and we have a Dead Man's Curve. This is fun. Alright. Maybe we'll actually be able to prove, you know, something exists. That would be the day. I'd rather prove than disprove. Alright. Trail of Spirits again. I wonder if Roy Creek should be spelled with an I instead of a Y. Just out of curiosity of the original white dude. Well, that's nice. The person who wrote this actually researched whether or not people disappeared in the 70s. One of the people working at the newspaper grew up near the area and doesn't remember any disappearances happening in the 70s, but says there are quicksand-like bogs in the area that could explain this fear. In the park's very early days, there wasn't any fencing to keep people on the trails, and if somebody went into the park at night and wandered too far and fell into one of these bogs, it could happen that they never make it out. My grandpa owned land east of the park and lost cattle because they got into the bogs and sank. These days, there are marked trails and visible fencing along the park's borders to keep visitors on solid ground. I think I'd still rather it be Bigfoot. Another explanation for missing people reports could be the park's steep drop-offs and ravines. It is an unexpected, hilly and wooded area surrounded by otherwise prairie and plains. When you enter the park from Highway 10, you are essentially starting at the highest point and driving down to the lower point of the hollow. Here are the lookout points, like the one turnaround in the road known as Dead Man's Curve, where you can park and look down into the tree-filled ravines. Some parts are so deep that you can barely see the bottom. According to Janine, you can also see stuff that has been left behind from homes that were there and cars that have gone over the ravine that they've never been able to pull out. Well, that's creepy. That would actually, honestly, if there were hauntings in the area, that could explain it. Like, you go flying over and they can't pull your car or you out. And now you get me trying to remember what it was we were talking about. Dead Man's Curve. Alright. Well, see, now I want to look up... I have to look at all my books. Because now I want to look up the Dead Man's Curve one. Lots of little things associated with this one. It's never easy. Never quick. But that's okay, because, you know, some things can easily be debunked and not spooky. Alright. There are inexplicable sounds and sights occurring throughout the park. There are some unique happenings, but they probably aren't caused by anything supernatural. The bogs are used to explain other strange occurrences, such as moans, groans, and screams heard in the forest are rationalized as sounds of trapped gases escaping from the muddy bogs. This lady has been Karen Borgen. Her family has owned Canyon Ranch trail rides since the 1980s. Her husband Art was instrumental in the addition of horse trails to the park. She agrees that springs in the area are bog-like and that it creates methane gas that comes up and sometimes glows. The water at the park can have a reddish tint, but is caused by iron deposits, not blood. Signage along the Trail of Spirits states it is believed that during the winter, air is trapped in the bog, which borders the creek. As the snow melts and the ground thaws, the gradual released air makes sounds compared to that of what it's like when one blows over the top of an uncapped bottle. That's neat. But still. Need to add spooky sounds to the list. I will say, not just a bog, but we've talked about this in other locations, the sounds that animals make that people don't always realize. Like, if you saw like a panther, like, I mean, could you perfectly imagine what the sounds that a panther would make? I'm not saying everything's a panther, but there's a lot of animal sounds that we hear and our brains immediately think some kind of human sound, but that's not necessarily it. Let's see. A Bigfoot type creature lives in the park. Well, we all know that we've never, unfortunately, been able to prove the existence of Bigfoot. But let's see. Well, the stories are heard about an unusual creature living in Sica Hollow. Describe it as being a large, strange bear or something that resembles Bigfoot. Jeannie presented another common tale. Years ago, someone found 2 horse prints instead of 4, and it started a rumor of a half-man, half-horse thing. That's pretty far-fetched for even the biggest mythical creature enthusiast, but other animals have definitely passed through the park, including bobcats. There are deer that live here, so it makes sense that bobcats would hunt here. As recently as within 10 years, locals have also identified an animal that resembles a small bear, though not confirmed being a bear, on game cams, but I couldn't find anything official to identify the animal. In general, if you visit the park in the daytime, you will most likely get to see birds and insects, as well as horses and their riders taking advantage of the horse trails. The woods are noisier at night as more nocturnal animals become active. When we want to be scared to death as kids, we'd go there at night. There's a lot of noises from all the things living in the woods. So yeah, see. Even they point out on here the animal sounds. I think it's raining outside. I really can't tell. The park being haunted. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Roy Cemetery, which I didn't even put 2 and 2 together with that. That was one of the ones that was like, we had the dot for the park and then the cemetery right below it. Roy is buried in it, and here it's, Roy with a Y instead of an I. I wonder how big that cemetery is. If it's like a small one or not. I like the way that piece, this right here, I like the way that was written. That one of the possibles was a half man, half horse on 2 feet. Well, 2 hooves. I wonder if it's possible for horses. Like, have you seen the video where a cat's walking in the snow and there's already like little feet prints, and the cat is able to perfectly put their little paws in the snowy footprints? I wonder if it's possible for a horse to walk in a way that it would look like they had 2 hooves instead of 4. All right. More of the same. I'll just catch you up. We are looking at, I have to think of this slow, Sica Hollow. It's like Sica. All right. We're looking at Sica Hollow. See, I don't say it for 2 seconds and I mess it up. In South Dakota, and they have reports from the 1970s of disappearances. One of the things that they already know the cause of is water that looks like it's bleeding and like flowing red, but it's mineral deposits and iron deposits causing that. We have a trail of spirits We have a dead man's curve. We have possible Bigfoot. We do have sounds of moans, groans, and screams, part of which are from swamp gases and waterfalls echoing. In the Civil War, we had an army trying to force natives out of the area. They went into the hollow and were never seen again, so they supposedly haunt. We have a lot of things. But yeah, it's said that possibly the 1970s disappearances are as a result of either possibly a bear or a Bigfoot type. But there are also reports of a half man, half horse, but not like centaur, only had 2 hooves instead of 4. But yeah, we got a lot going on with this one. It's interesting. There is pockets of quicksand. So let's see. See, this says the stories of the missing people are true, but is that the ones from the 70s or just ones in general? Because I imagine there's probably plenty of, missing people outside of that. So, yeah, we've got all kinds of things. One of the more interesting legends, like origin stories, is about, this is Sioux legend about Hand. He, let's see. This reads it slightly different. The first story we read about it, I didn't write it down fully. He basically took from the land and didn't give back, and wasn't appreciative of Mother Nature. So the elders were going to toss him out, and he ended up taking several young boys with him, and I guess they were killers. They basically they took what they wanted, and they prayed to Thunderer, who, according to this, set a trap for Hand using twining vines and gouged his eyes out, and then drowned him by filling his mouth with water. The only bad thing is Thunderer drowned everyone in the tribe except for one young girl. Hand is now a spirit that haunts the land dressed as an Indian, but his eyes gouged out. Well, that's far grosser than what we read on the other page. Yeah, ouch indeed. What we read on the other page was just like Thunderer just kind of killed everybody around. There was nothing about eye gouging. Ew. Coffee House Riders, you brought it. Let's see. A village was discovered and excavated near Rory Lake. There are no telling what spirits from this village could haunt the area. Times were brutal back then. Ugh. Witnesses report cold spots and feeling watched, as well as ethereal apparitions in the area. So, what village was this? Alright. Make sure that was it. Oh, it's an ancient Indian village. Oh, alright. So, we have cold spots. feelings of being watched. Apparitions. Seen. And drums and chants. Alright. I always have issues with cold spots, especially outside, because, I mean, shit, my bedroom is a cold spot. Like, I mean, I live in a air-conditioned apartment, and my bedroom is usually like 3 degrees cooler than the rest of the house, or the rest of the apartment. But I always have issues with cold spots. But it is nice. Most of what I'm finding, there already is a science side of things with it being like the water and the glowing and all that kind of stuff that we know. My brain is just shorting out, you guys. Oh my goodness, I've thought too long and hard today. But yeah, it is nice that the things that need to be disproven can easily be disproven, and they aren't perpetuated as just being something spooky. You guys know I don't like that. But, I mean, there are also, spooky reasons for there to be cold spots. I would like to see, like, how I would feel encountered by one out in the wild in an area that's supposedly haunted. Like, honestly, how fast would I piss myself if I'm out looking for ghosts and it's 3 a.m. and all of a sudden there's a cold spot all around me? I'm probably going to pee myself. I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's probably is exactly what's going to happen. But I wonder how I would react to that, and trying to figure out, because I mean, I've been in areas before where I've experienced something that could be defined as a cold spot or a hot spot. I have that hair that's distracting me. I've been in areas before that could be described as a cold spot or hot spot in non-spooky situations. And they definitely sent chills down my spine a few times. And I'm trying to think of if I ever found non-spooky reasons for them. I don't want to ask Dr. Butts. Dr. Butts is a ghost at this point. I am going to research him one day. I'm going to find out the truth behind Dr. Butts. He's my real nemesis, not the gray man. I broke so hard on that one, too. I'm going to do a quick scroll and see if there's anything new on this. He is. We're going to have, Lily memes, and it's always going to be Dr. Butts. Dr. Butts and my inability to say words that people should know how to say and be able to pronounce, but not me. Like, let's be perfectly honest. I know how to say this word. I know how to say it. It's macabre. But when I read it, my brain does not read it that way, and I have to tell myself that I am reading it wrong every fucking time. Hey, we have Bigfoot right here. Let's see. I think this is all pretty much the same information. I did not realize Mount Rushmore was in South Dakota. If you asked me where it was, I would not be able to tell you. Let's see. Let's see if Facebook will let me see their stuff without being logged in. Cool. Oh, this is like old school Facebook. Like back when people had notes. So this is more of the story of hand. Alright, let's see. I do like this as a story. So, I've had 2 stories that have talked about spirits that have helped, but accidentally killed all the nearby residences or residents. It looks like these 2 stories are one and the same. Hopefully I have the story in one of my Native American books that I have. So this person who posted this, they've heard drumming. They've heard both one hit of a drum and drumming on several dates. There are animals all over, but it's rare to see them. In the winter, I have seen what could have been only been tracks of a cat, but they were so large and widespread, one in front of the other. I know the cat would have to be about 5 feet long. I've also seen what looks like small campfires that you can only see at a distance, and if you go looking for them, you'll never find them. One thing you'll never find is blood from an animal killing another animal, even in the winter. Sometimes when you walk the trails, you'll find the trails are longer than they should be, meaning that the trail repeats itself. Here they describe an encounter with a very large brown bear. Not far from the hollow, a few friends and I were driving about 55, 65 miles per hour on a gravel road. Why are you going so fucking fast on a gravel road? Oh my God, that's how you skid out. On a gravel road and out of the woods came what could only be described as a very large brown bear, the size of a mid-sized car. It ran in the ditch next to my car, keeping up with the speed of the vehicle for about a quarter of a mile before running back into the woods as we came to a deep stream bridge. I have also seen and heard things that I would never make known in an email or to someone I didn't know. There are many stories that only locals know about Sica Hollow and its powers. It's a very beautiful park, and I have tented there multiple times and would do so again. I do appreciate them saying here that they saw a bear, because a bear being possible cause for disappearances, but them saying they never found one. And then Bobcat. Like something said Bobcat before, so let's just see how big is a Bobcat. Grow up to 37 inches. Alright, so just about 3 feet. I suppose you could have a big bobcat, or their measurements being slightly off, like maybe it was more, it is a big kitty, Maybe it was more like, yeah, okay, so see, this says 30 to 50 inches long. So the footprints that they could have seen that they stated were a cat could have been a bobcat because bobcats have been reported in the area. A death kitty, yeah. We have, I don't think I wrote this down. We do know that there are reports of bobcats in area. Can grow 30 to 50 inches. One report of cat prints 5 feet in span, and report of a, what was this, a black bear, brown bear? I forget what it said. Large brown bear. Alright. See what some of the other reports from this were. We had lots of animals, but rarely seen. Never see blood on the ground, even in winter. From animals. I specify that the blood on the ground should be from animals. Trails seem longer. Than they are, so trails repeat themselves. God, I cannot read my notes. I'm gonna have to like look back on this video just so I can recopy my notes because wow, I have hot mess writing right now. Whew. Alright, so we do have the drumming. I already got that listed. Cat, small fires, alright. Small campfires seen at a distance, but never like located. Is that right? Did I write that down right? All right. I think my brain is like shot at this point, so I think I'm going to wrap up